Korea. Yeah, we retired in Korea, so check out the Varied Life. This channel is just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff where the wife and I, what we ended up doing was selling everything, threw stuff in a couple of suitcases, and we moved and eventually retired here in Korea. So obviously I'm retired, and we did the early retirement thing, so that's kind of cool. I'm enjoying that. So this channel is to document some of those things and our journey and what we experience here being retired in an overseas location, especially here in Korea. So that's kind of interesting. And then I've also gotten back into health and fitness. So with that being said, today's video is talking about how to lose belly fat. You know, the belly fat that you have that took a lot of years to put on, the insulation that is good for the winter. And, you might have gotten to a point of where you're noticing that you have more insulation than you would like to have. A lot of people will start scouring the interwebs, social media, YouTube, so on and so forth, and they'll see these programs of lose your belly fat in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, there's so many things. Do I have to do cardio? What about protein? People are saying eat more protein. Is that going to make me lose body fat, and my belly fat? And, by the way, what exercises, what ab exercises can I do to remove the belly fat that I have and the visceral fat and all of that stuff? And do I really need to do cardio? There's just a plethora of questions. Another thing that comes up is like, well, I'm eating clean and I'm not losing weight. And it's like, there's a number of issues that we're going to unpack here. So let's take a sip and get started. Alrighty. Now, the first thing when we're talking about losing body fat is generally what happens is that your body uses so much energy, and that comes from the foods that we eat, the fuel, the carbs, the fats, and the proteins to keep our body alive, to function. So when we eat too much food and too many calories, so in other words, we're in a calorie surplus, what happens is that your body's only going to use up a certain portion of that to do what it needs to do. And then the excess or that surplus, the body's going to say, well, it'd be nice if it would just crap it out and we don't have to worry about being obese and overweight. But unfortunately, the body will save that store of energy and it stores it as fat for possible future use. Now, the problem is when you get to a place of where you eat too much or eat too many calories and you don't burn those calories, that excess is going to be layers and layers and layers of fat. And next thing you know, you've got the jiggly butt, junk in the trunk, the visceral fat, which is bad for, cardiovascular health, for strokes, heart attacks, diabetes, type 1, type 2, and other related diseases that come along with being obese. It's this whole thing about, being healthy at any size is an absolute fallacy. There's been tens of thousands of studies that show that obesity is probably one of the biggest killers in the world today. Definitely in the United States, maybe not in the third world countries where they don't have an excess of food, obviously. But for well-developed nations, obesity is a killer. So with that being said, you cannot be healthy at any size, okay, at any weight. There comes a time where you have too much body fat. It's going to put too much undue stress on your heart. You're going to have too much problems with plaque in your arteries and so on and so forth. It's been studied and done to death. So for the people that say that you can be healthy at any size is absolutely wrong. Can you manage your health and be obese? Yes, to some degree. The body is very forgiving. But again, when you come to a place of where you can be much healthier if you don't have as much body fat and you're not as obese as you currently are or as I currently am. Seeing that if we're being obese. So with that being said, people will give all types of advice. And one thing that I want to hear and that I want to address is people that say, well, I'm eating clean, but I'm not losing weight. And it's like, okay, it's not about clean versus processed. I know that's going to be strange for some people to accept because processed foods are evil and bad and they make you fat, but clean foods are good and make you thin. No, it's all about calories and how many calories that you take in and how many calories that you burn and the calories that are left over. So if you have a surplus of unused calories, then what happens is that gets stored as fat foods and little Debbie cakes and ding dongs and Pop Tarts and things like that. A surplus of calories, and of course, if you have too many carbs and too many sugars and fats, that's going to be a contributing factor. But overall, having too many calories as a whole will get you fat. And if you eat clean foods, so in other words, let's say you do meat and vegetables and clean foods, non-processed foods, if you eat an overabundance of those calories and you're in a surplus, guess what? You will get fat on off of eating clean foods. So, I've run into a number of people, and a number of people have contacted me and say, hey, well, I'm eating clean, I'm eating pretty clean. And it's like, that's just some kind of arbitrary term. What is the definition of clean food? And more importantly, the question that's not asked is how much of this clean food are you eating? And again, it comes down to how do we figure out how much we should eat to be in a deficit? And the deficit is very important because your body's going to use so much fuel to keep itself running and, heart beating, breathing, all of that stuff. And doing the things that you do in a normal day requires X amount of calories and fuel. If you want to lose body fat, you're going to go down below that caloric intake to be in a deficit. So there's that deficit of calories that you were normally taking in, but now the body's like, well, wait a second, I need some fuel. I need something to get me through the day. Let's see, we're going to look around and we're going to go on the shelf and we're going to take the fat that we stored when we were having a surplus of calories. So we're going to take that stored fat, that stored energy, and we're going to use that because we're in a calorie deficit, and that's going to remove the fat from your fat body, okay? With that being said, you don't need to work out. You don't need to do cardio to lose fat. I know this is going to be hard for a lot of people, and especially people that are in health and fitness. I can already see brains just exploding because of what I just said. But it's absolutely true. And we've seen it on TV. We've seen it on My 600-Pound Life. You got Dr. Now, or you've got people that, the weight loss TV reality shows and whatever. And it's like, well, I need you to lose, however many pounds. The 600-pound life is a good example of this. So they reduce the amount of calories that these people are eating, which can be anywhere 6 to 10,000 calories a day. They bring them down to like 2,000 calories a day, and boom, they lose 30, 40, 50 pounds, 60 pounds in a month. It's that they're in such a deficit that their body is using the stored fuel that they have, body fat, and they get weight loss. Many of them don't even work out. They just sit on the couch, but they reduce the intake and reduce, instead of having a surplus of calories, now they have a deficit of calories, so their body's going to use the stored body fat. That's you don't even have to exercise. With that being said, if you exercise, that is an added bonus because you're going to burn more calories, you're going to build muscle, you're going to get some functional mobility out of exercising. You're also going to do some cardio through, 75 to 150 minutes a week of cardio. Could be swimming, could be walking, could be jogging. It doesn't have to be sprints or high intensity exercises. It can be just going out for a walk, a couple of times after lunch and after dinner, for 20, 30 minutes. That can be cardio. The thing is that you don't need to do it, but when you add in exercise of 3 to 5 times a week and then do 75 minutes to 150 minutes of cardio a week, that will continue to benefit you not only in your overall health and cardiovascular system, but it will also aid in fat loss, okay? You'll have a greater synergy of all those things coming together to help you with fat loss because let's say, here is where from the number of calories that you need to survive and do your daily activities, which doesn't include exercise. You go into a deficit, and so you're losing body fat because you're in that deficit, but then you add in exercise, say 3 times a week, and you do that cardio, that puts you into a further deficit. So let's say you do some cardio and you do some exercising, and each time that you exercise and do cardio, just 3 days a week, let's say that expends another 300 calories. Okay, that's doable. Excuse me, that's very doable. And with that being said, now that deficit comes down a little bit more. So in other words, your body's going to look for more energy, in other words, through that stored fat, and you're going to lose more weight. Yeah, that's how it works. Now the question comes, well, how do I do that? You need to get on a caloric calculator. And if you go and Google bodybuilding macro calculator, you'll find bodybuilding.com. They have a macro calculator where you put in your age, your height, your weight, your physical activity that you're doing, how many times you exercise, all of that stuff, and your weight loss goal or your weight goals, either to gain weight, maintain weight, or lose weight. And if you go to lose weight and then you have all that information in there and you click calculate, it will spit out a daily caloric number of how much you should be taking in per day. So you take that, and let's say it ends up being, 2,000 calories, just an arbitrary number for your height and weight. And the breakdown of those calories per day for your macros is how much of those 2,000 calories consists of protein, carbs, and fats. Okay. And generally, when people say, because you'll see it on a lot of social media fitness sites where people say, oh, you got to eat more protein, eat more protein. And it's like, that's how you lose weight. And that's how you lose. I've seen people actually say that. It's like, eat clean and eat more protein and you'll lose body fat. No, if you eat too much clean food and you eat too much protein, you can be in a calorie surplus and you won't lose fat. Okay. I think people need to preface that by saying if you eat more protein, generally what happens is that you're more satiated, you feel full, and so you're not going to eat as much carbs, sugars, and fats as you would before when you weren't eating much protein. Okay, that's kind of the little thing that they're talking about there, but they need to explain it more. Just saying eat more protein. If somebody's eating, 6,000 calories a day and you're telling them to eat more protein, adding more calories through protein is not going to get them into a deficit, especially if they're obese, severely obese, or massively obese. It's just going to be like another, oh, great, now I can eat some more pulled pork, some more brisket, some more burgers, whatever, more chicken wings. I love chicken wings. Protein is not the answer in and of itself because it has to be within a nutrition plan. So in your nutrition plan is going to show you how many calories a day that you should eat. And out of those calories, protein, fats, and carbs, it's a breakdown. So usually what you'll end up seeing is about 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fats. That's generally what most macro and caloric calculators will use, even though I have seen some that are more advanced where you can actually play with those ratios. So in other words, you could put like 35% carbs and then adjust your protein and adjust your fats and so on and so forth, so that you can use less carbs or take in less carbs so that your body's going to need more carbs to fuel your workouts and your recovery. So it's going to use body fat. So that will result in a greater fat loss overall, and there you go, okay? The hard thing to do is to make a nutrition plan. I mean, getting on the interwebs and surfing the web and doing caloric and macro calculator, punching calculate, and boom, that's easy. That can be done in a matter of 5 seconds. The problem that people run into is trying to come up with meal plans, actual meals and recipes that they will eat throughout the day to keep them on track with that caloric and macro intake. A lot of people, you used to have to pay people to do your nutrition plan and come up with recipes and do all the math and figure it out. Okay, this is the meal that you're going to have for breakfast. This is whatever. And we would pay people, trainers, to do this. Now, if you look in the playlist for, retired in Korea fitness or Korean fitness, whatever physical fitness playlist that this is going into. Go there and you will see, and I will show you that using ChatGPT is a great tool to help you make a nutrition plan with recipes. And boom, there it is. And it can be done in, a couple of minutes. So you can end up taking about 15, 20 seconds to Google and find a caloric and macro calculator, find out your calories, find out the macros. Then you can go on ChatGPT and reference that other video that I have in the playlist. And you can put that information in there, click, and a minute or two, what pops up can be a daily meal plan. And I even ran it to where it did a weekly meal plan with recipes of showing, hey, well, you're going to have some grilled chicken, you're going to have some asparagus, you're going to have some rice, some corn, or whatever, you're going to have eggs, you're going to have quinoa, you're going to have some protein powder, a medium-sized apple, whatever it is. It does all that work for you, something that would take hours and hours for you to do on your own, or hours and hours and a bunch of money for your personal trainer to do that on their own, and you pay them for their time and service. We're getting to a place now where we don't need them anymore, okay? Whether you're trying to build muscle, whether you're trying to lose body fat or maintain the physique that you have, we're finding out that through the advancements of technology, we can do all that stuff on our own. So yeah, the hardest part is nutrition. Going to the gym isn't really hard. People are like, well, how do you find the motivation to go to the gym? I find when I don't want to go to the gym, my motivation comes after I go to the gym. So if I'm feeling bad and I'm feeling depressed, and it's like going to the gym, I drag my sorry butt to the gym, and then I start working out, and then I start feeling better. And then at the end, it's like, hey, there's a win. I went to the gym, I did my workout, whatever that workout is, and that goes in the win column, okay? And usually I feel better about myself when I go to the gym and I've completed my workout. Motivation is a result from action, not motivation spurs action. It can, but I think people kind of got it messed up. If you can have a habit or a routine of going to the gym, and that is solidified as being a priority in your life, like brushing your teeth and putting on deodorant and doing the things that you wiping your butt, if it can be a priority on the same level as those things, then going to the gym is going to be the easy part. Lifting is going to be the easy part. The hard part that I have found with the majority of people that contact me, and I don't offer services, I don't charge people, I just kind of help people that I know and whatever, and then through social media and doing videos like this and long, lengthy discussions on some video calls or whatever, that I help people out with the free information that I have found that helped me. That's all it is. I'm not saying I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not certified in anything. I just take the free information and the information that I learned and I pass it on, and you can try it. But 99.99% of the time, the people that do not lose weight is because they don't follow a nutrition plan. And when you find out how many calories and what your macros are supposed to be, and once you can get a meal plan, then you meal prep for that entire week. So what is meal prep? Meal prep is where you say, okay, well, this is what I'm having for breakfast, so I'm going to make a week's worth of breakfast. I'm going to make a week's worth of lunches. I'm going to make a week's worth of dinners that follow my nutrition plan. And so that way, and then, I'll take a protein shake with me as a snack, or, I might take, an apple or whatever my nutrition plan says that I can have for the snack to keep me on track so that I don't eat in some unauthorized ways that will put me in a calorie surplus instead of being in a calorie deficit. And that is generally, from what I see, where most people fail, because they will resort to, okay, well, I'm doing good. I lost a few pounds. I'm going to have a cheat day and reward myself because I lost a few pounds, and I'm going to eat outside the bounds of my nutrition plan that are probably going to be bad for me and put me into a surplus. In other words, you're going to be hamstringing yourself. And why would you do that? It's a cheat meal, a cheat day, a cheat weekend. Those are the worst, because that can really hamper your progress when it comes to weight loss. So I don't believe in cheat meals anymore. I don't. I believe in treat meals. So in other words, let's say you're basically what you're going to do is you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul to allow you to have a treat meal on a weekend. So basically what you're going to end up doing is in your nutrition plan, you're going to fit in and say, well, I want, a double burger, double cheeseburger with fries, and a shake from whatever fast food restaurant or bistro or whatever place that you like to go to. That is going to be your cheat meal. Include and find out how many calories, what is the protein, fats, and carbs for that meal, and punch that into your nutrition plan. And what you'll find out is that, okay, well, I want to have this treat meal, but during the rest of the week, I might have to reduce the amount of carbs or fats or other things. So in other words, you're robbing from these meals here to have them on your treat meal. But overall, for that entire week, you're still within that calorie deficit. And if you're in that calorie deficit, guess what? You're going to be losing weight. Yeah, thank me. Thank me now. It's a thing. So unfortunately, a lot of people will have cheat meals and they'll say, well, I eat clean cheat meals. Well, it doesn't matter what you think is clean or processed, or that's irrelevant. What matters is how many calories was your cheat meal. Like, for example, a guy contacted me and he was saying, you know what, I was losing weight, I was doing good, and I have my cheat meal on the weekends. And it's like, wait a second, cheat meal, singular, on the weekends, meaning multiple days. So which is it? Something's not adding up here. 1 and 1 is not equal to. We're seeing there's some other unspoken variable. And the other variable was, okay, well, I'm eating clean foods as my cheat meals. And then simply I just asked the guy, I said, well, how many calories are you eating? And what is the breakdown of macros on your cheat meals? He couldn't answer the question. And it's like, have you ever even tried to figure out, what are the calories and what you eat on a cheat meal during the weekend, the weekends? And it ends up he was eating clean cheat meals on Saturday and Sunday, and he's wondering why he wasn't losing as much weight. Well, because he was eating so many more calories, it was setting him back in his overall weekly goals, that it was slowing down his body fat loss. So yeah, it's very important that you keep track of everything. I'm not saying that you have to eat rice, chicken, and asparagus every single meal, 5-6 times a day, and not have any seasoned food or not have anything that tastes good. I'm not saying that, because as long as it can fit within your nutrition plan and you can meet that calorie deficit, flavor it up, eat some good food. It's not hard to do, but we've been programmed, unfortunately, by bodybuilders and social media influencers that if you want to be big, look good, have the abs, the whole 9 yards, that you need to have meals that are only rice, chicken, and broccoli. And that's not the case. You can actually have good food. So yeah, that's what it comes down to, is the nutrition plan. Include your treat meals in your nutrition plan, and you'll find not only is that rewarding, but it will keep yourself on the plan, and you'll be able to lose more weight than if you just kind of blew it on the weekend on your cheat meals on Saturday and Sunday. Again, a lot of unaccounted for calories, and if you don't know how many calories and macros your cheat meals are, yeah, you're cheating and you're inhibiting the progress of losing body fat. The other thing I want to talk about is spot fat loss. People will, and you'll see this on YouTube, you'll see it on social media and the interwebs, is saying, well, hey, the exercises that you can do, these are the exercises that you can do for abs. And this is how I got my abs in 30 days. And it shows this ripped schedule, Greek god looking guy with like 3% body fat. And he does a number of ab exercises. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do that for 30 days. And then I'll be able to spot reduce the fat in my belly area. That's not a thing. Okay. Spot fat reduction has been disproven. Now, unfortunately, influencers and so on and so forth will not tell you this, that when you're in a deficit, a calorie deficit, usually weight comes off, fat comes off in a number of places. And the first place that you usually see it is in the person's face and their neck. And then you'll see it in, depending on you're a man or a woman, it'll start coming off the arms and so on and so forth. And then usually the last place is around the midsection, the visceral fat, the body fat, and then of course the hips and the junk in the trunk. Sometimes women have have more body fat on the lower part of their body than men. Men usually carry their body fat more around their stomach, and the upper part of their body, though, they got junk in the trunk too. But generally, the last place that you'll see fat loss is around the midsection of the body. And that includes the belly fat, the Dunlap disease, the love handles, and of course the jiggly butt stuff that you got back there. That is usually the last place that body fat wants to let go. It's hanging on for dear life, and the only way that you can get rid of it is through continued exercise and following that calorie deficit plan and time. It's just a matter of time. Now, other people have contacted me and said, hey, well, I was losing weight, but I'm stuck, I've plateaued, and I just can't seem to get rid of the love handles. I can't get rid of, I can't get the flat stomach. I'm at a point where I'm sticking, I'm working out 3 days a week. I'm following my plan. I did the caloric calculator exactly the way that you told me. I do meal planning and meal prep, the whole 9 yards. I don't understand why I'm not losing weight now. So I asked this question, well, how much did you lose so far? Oh, I've lost 20, 30 pounds. Okay, awesome. Did you reassess and go back to that caloric calculator and your macro calculator and put in your new body weight? Oh, no, I didn't. Well, exactly. Your body is going to lose so much body fat, and it's going to come to a weight of where it's like, okay, that's where we're at. That is the new standard. And you're going to be actually at a maintenance level of calories. So if you're not losing body fat and you're following your nutrition plan, then you need to reassess and redo those caloric calculator numbers. And you'll find that when let's say you lost 20, 30 pounds and you redo and put in the new weight for your body weight and for a caloric deficit, you'll find that you should drop a few hundred more calories. Once you start doing that, redo your nutrition plan, meal prep, the whole 9 yards, working out, exercise, cardio, you'll find that you'll start losing weight again, okay? That's how it works. It's not hard. Now, the other thing is that I should let people know is that these caloric calculators are based on averages. It's a formula based on a plethora of people, and it's kind of like a rule of thumb type of thing. If you get to a place of where you're not losing weight or you're not losing weight enough, then all you need to do is take that, you're saying, but I'm hitting my calories in my deficit. I'm not cheating. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. If you're not losing weight fast enough, drop another 200 calories off of your daily caloric intake. And the reason I say this is because there is a margin of error in those calculators. There was some fitness influencer, it was a blog that I saw, I can't find it for the life of me, but he's some kind of smart nutritionist, personal trainer type dude. I swear, I wish I had that article because I posted it. So if somebody knows what I'm talking about, put that in the comment section down below. But basically what he ended up saying is that these calculators can have a margin of error of up to 30%, 10, 20, 30%. So if there's a 10% margin of error, you need to take that into consideration. So drop another 200 calories and see where you go. It's not hard. Losing weight is not hard, but the problem is we're inundated with influencers that don't know what they're talking about, and then that makes it bad because then people look at these influencers and they take the information that they give and they regurgitate it and vomit it out to other people saying, well, you need to eat clean foods, you need to eat more protein, and you need to blah, 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 blah. They're just regurgitating the crap that they heard without realizing what is really entailed in losing body fat. okay? And once you lose body fat and you know how to do it and you've seen it work, then you'll see through all the BS that is on the interwebs. You'll see the 30, 60, 90 ab exercise routine so that you can get abs, for fat spot reduction. You'll see through the BS that's talking about, oh, you need a workout program for if you're an endomorph, ectomorph, a mesomorph. Spoiler, if you're fat, thin, or obese, a bench press is a bench press. A curl is a curl, a squat is a squat. It doesn't matter. And you will find that what matters, and if you want to gain muscle, then you're going to have to be in a surplus of calories where you have more protein. Boom, if you're a skinny guy, you're going to have to up your calories and up your protein and do your workouts. And what you'll find is that aids in muscle growth. If you want to lose body fat, guess what? Yeah, you have to be in the caloric deficit. But guess what? In your routine, your weight training resistance routine, the fat guy, the skinny guy, the overweight guy, they're all going to do bench press. They're all going to do squats. They're all going to do some type of back exercise and cable exercise. And, they're going to do some cardio. And they're all the same exercises. What the only difference, and so for somebody to say, you need a workout routine for your body type is selling you wolf tickets. Because if you actually go and that endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph, and you see who actually came up with that to begin with, it was a psychologist. And that psychologist, it wasn't about health and fitness. It was about this flawed theory that he had that overweight people are happy and jovial and fun, kind of like that Santa Claus, ho, 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 kind of a good natured person. And then the person with the medium build is usually hardworking and well-to-do, they're a good friend, they're reliable, they're trustworthy, their morals are good. And then the skinny person is kind of like the skinny guy with the rat face and the questionable beady eyes, and he's more prone to crime because his morals are decayed. That's what that guy actually came up with those things as some type of identifying marker of saying, okay, well, if this guy looks like this, he doesn't have good morals. He doesn't have a good work ethic, and he's questionable in his activities, or he's a really happy, jovial person, and we know that that's bullshit. It's kind of like, what the Nazis did by saying, this is what a Jew looks like, and this is what the undesirable people look like, so we're going to identify them by how they look, and then we'll come get them, and they did what they did, which is horrible. I know that's kind of an extreme example, but taking something from a psychologist and trying to do that same thing of saying, you can identify somebody and kind of rate their morals and ethical standards and beliefs based off of whether they're fat, medium build, or thin has been disproven numerous times. So what ends up with that is that the fitness world grasp onto that and say, oh, well, we can use this. And if you're fat and overweight, we have a workout routine exactly for your body type. Well, that's a selling point. I want a workout routine for my body type. I don't want a routine that's just for any body type, right? All it is marketing ploy. So anyway, don't fall into that trap. And actually, there was a guy that I knew that he ended up and he got a fitness routine and he was a little bit overweight and there was some mix up or whatever. He eventually got his program and he sent back, and through whatever, they sent him the program for the thin guy, the workout program for the thin guy. So he had the fat guy workout and the thin guy workout. And he looked at him and he's like, they're the same workout. The same exercise, maybe in different order, whatever, but it's still the same. You can change the exercise, but a push-up is a push-up is a push-up, a bench is a bench is a bench, and it doesn't matter. So don't fall for the hype of saying, like V-Shred, he's notorious for that. Oh, get a workout routine for your body type. You don't need V-Shred, and he's an idiot anyway. So much bad information comes from him, it's not even funny. But if you focus on a caloric calculator, your macros, having a nutrition plan, using ChatGPT to come up with your nutrition plan, and the meal plan for the week, work out 3 to 5 times a week, have 75 minutes to 150 minutes of cardio a week, boom, you will lose weight if that's your goal. Now, if you want to gain muscle, then of course you're going to have to be in a surplus of calories, and you're going to want to make sure that you're not overdoing it on carbs, but there is an increase in protein. And again, usually 40 the ratio for your macros is 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fat works well. Some people might adjust that and up the protein and but it's playing around. It works for you. If you're working your nutrition plan, you're trying to gain muscle, and you're finding out that, hey, I'm gaining more body fat than I want, and I want to gain more lean muscle mass and less fat, then adjust your nutrition plan. Reduce the amount of carbs, because obviously there's some type of surplus that is going to body fat, so you're not using those carbs. So reduce the number of calories, reduce the number of carbs, up a little bit of protein. Try that for a month and see what happens. It's taking a general rule and then fitting it to your own variables, because not everybody is the same. Generally, we're the same, but some people might have a little bit faster metabolism. Some people might have more weight to lose than others. Some people might have hormone issues or issues with disease or some genetic component or whatever. But you need to tweak that nutrition plan for you. And once you do that, then you can come up and find a nutrition plan for you that's tailored to you, because you actually worked and saw what works and what doesn't work. And you say, well, this doesn't work, but when I want to cut, this is the amount of calories that I'm doing, this is what I'm eating, blah, blah, blah. I had better with this, I added some fasting, whatever it is. You can add things to benefit in losing body fat, but don't get caught in the hype of saying, well, you must do intermittent fasting. That's the only way that you can lose body fat. No, that's absolutely not true. It can help, but the main thing is your nutrition plan, okay? There's tons of people who have lost weight who have never even done intermittent fasting. Now, does that negate intermittent fasting? No, but to say and make the claim that intermittent fasting is absolutely needed and necessary to lose body fat is absolutely untrue. It's just not true. If you take the meals that you have and split them up into 4 or 5, 6 times a day, being on a deficit, when you have that many meals and you sparse it out over a long period of time and you have a reduced calories, it's going to kind of mess with your mind a little bit, and you're going to, hey, every 2 hours I'm going to be eating a little bit of something. You might not be eating the vast amount that you were before, but you're still eating, and it gives you this sense of fullness or satiety. Feeling full because you're eating every 2 hours. It's not a lot, but again, it's just kind of a tip and a trick and a strategy to help you get over that thing in your head that says, oh, I got to put something in my pie hole. The thing is, don't put a lot in your pie hole, okay? Follow the nutrition plan, and that's what you need to do. So the last thing I want to talk about is exercise routines. This is interesting. Now, I've already said that you can lose body fat without even exercising, which is absolutely true. You don't need to exercise. As long as your nutrition plan has you in a deficit, you can lose body fat, okay? With exercise and a nutrition plan, you can put that into hyperdrive and you can lose even more body fat, so there's that. But when it comes down to working out and exercising, what do I do? Now, there's a plethora of routines. You can do yoga, you can do calisthenics, you can do body weight exercises, you can do variable, the resistance bands, you can do free weights, you can do machine weights, and a combination of all those things. And unfortunately, elliptical machines and Stairmasters and all of this stuff, and people will lock on to how they did it, and they will claim that is the only way to do it. That's not true, because if it was, if there was only one way to do it with one exercise routine, then millions of people wouldn't be losing weight by using other exercise routines. What they found is something that they latched onto that works for them, and they just stuck with it. Okay, it doesn't mean that other workout routines or other ways that you exercise are null and void. So for example, body weight exercises. People say, oh, well, you got to lift weights. I'm a big proponent of weights, free weights and machines, mostly machines because I'm older and there's a safety feature involved in that. And it surprises people to let them know that I don't even barbell bench anymore. Yeah, no barbells. No barbell benching for me. No squats. All of my stuff is done with machines. With the hammer strength plate machines, it puts me in a place where I can exercise, I can gain muscles. The risk factor goes down for me working out, and usually you'll hear the free weight people just scream and they can't understand because, oh, but you need to do free weights to exercise and strengthen your stabilizer muscles. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Are the stabilizer muscles the thing that's going to make it or break it when it comes to fat loss? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, there are a number of bodybuilders, professional bodybuilders, that not only when they were in their prime, but as they got older, they're saying, hey, machines are the way to go because it keeps you on track. It can target the muscles. You don't have to worry so much about, there's less risk of injury. So let's just stop that BS right now. People are surprised when they're like, man, how much, what is your bench and what is your squat? And it's like, I don't do those. I do the hammer strength machines and I'll put, 300, 400 pounds, 430 pounds on a hammer strength bench machine. And, I'll crank out 3 or 4 reps, but I'm not going to do a bench press because one, for my shoulder, for some reason, just doesn't like the free weight barbell bench press. It just doesn't like it. And it doesn't like it when I do free weights on, the barbell bench for incline. I do the machine. It's in a position to where it's good for me. I don't have any problems with my shoulders. I don't drop weights. I haven't, and as I get older, I understand that all it takes is one slip, one, mistake or one sneeze or one muscle cramp away from dropping a 300 or 400 pound, barbell on my neck I'm kind of weighing the risk versus reward. Same thing with squats. You see a lot of older people that are doing squats and it's like, I don't want people thinking that you have to do these complicated, super heavy exercises to be able to lose weight. It's just not needed. God bless them. If you can squat barbells with 500, 600 pounds, God bless you. That's awesome. But as we get older, we tend to get injured more as we get older. So I'm just being a little bit proactive and I look pretty decent. I got some decent size, coming up. Not bad, not bad. But yeah, I do mostly machines and I do some barbell or some dumbbell exercises, but I don't do barbells for bench or squats because I have some back injuries, I have some other things that I deal with, and I just don't see the need anymore. I don't see the need of getting caught up into the ego lifts and things like that for, barbell bench and squats. I'll still do some PRs on the hammer strength machines, but if something goes wrong and I let go, boom, no bar is going to, smack me in the head or cut off my head, when the bar lands on my neck. It's not going to be a lethal encounter if I fail or, have some medical episode or a seizure because I'm 56 years old. Boom, the machine's going to go back and there it is, So the risk versus reward is something to take into consideration. So anyway, kind of got off on a tangent there. You can do body weight exercises, calisthenics. You can do push-ups, pull-ups, all of those body weight squats, the whole 9 yards. You can use dumbbells in doing those things. The resistance bands are good. I'm just scared of the possibility of it snapping back and hitting me in the face or whatever. But there's a lot of good resistance bands out there, and that is a good exercise, especially for people that are just starting out. And it's an easy contraption that you can use, that you can travel with. If you don't have a lot of money for exercise equipment or dumbbells, bands are a great way to work out. The TRX options are really well. You can use those at home and when you travel. So, I see too many people poo-pooing on, the calisthenics people or the resistance band people or the people who do yoga or people who do body weight exercises versus the people who lift weights and go to the gym and do free weights. realize that any activity is going to be good for you physically, whether it's body weight bands, weights, cardio, a combination of all those things. Don't feel or have somebody make you feel, don't let them make you feel guilty because you're doing calisthenics or you're not pushing as much weight as they are or you're not doing whatever they're doing and you're doing something different. As long as you're going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week and you're doing some cardio for your cardiovascular system and heart health, which by the way can reduce the amount of heart episodes and cardiovascular events by up to 53%, something like that, boom. And you're following a nutrition plan, you're maintaining muscle mass, you can gain some, you can maintain some muscle mass, and you can live a longer and healthier life. But don't get caught up in the hype that because you don't squat 500 or 600 pounds or bench that amount, that you're less of a person or that you're not meeting your goals. And here's the other thing. The majority of people that exercise and do home workouts, you probably won't see their abs. Yeah, I heard some fitness guy who was saying, if you think about it, in the amount of people that do exercise and all that stuff, to get to the point of where you're in a deficit to where you reduce the amount of body fat to where you can see abs, he said, I'm guessing it would be about 1% of the population. And to that point, if you go down below that, is it really healthy to have like 4% body fat? Absolutely not. We know this from doctors' studies showing that, hey, having that reduced amount of body fat is not good for your body. It messes with your hormones. But if you can get a flat stomach and you can go to the gym, eat right, boom, do some cardiovascular, you're good to go. So I know I've got visible abs and I work on that and I try to maintain that, but there's also a level of where, that I'm retired. That this is what I do is exercise 4 times a week, and that's my thing. That's my big hobby. So I find it easier for me to do that and stay on track with my nutrition plan and so on and so forth. Even with my surgery recovery, it's kind of interesting, but I'm still able to maintain. But don't feel like you need to be perfect. Okay, set small goals and attain those goals and reward yourself. That brings a lot of self-confidence. I would rather see somebody go to the gym, do 15 minutes of cardio, like 3 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week. So let's just say 3 days a week, do like 30 minutes of cardio and do that for a month and then develop a habit and a favorable self-image and confidence of going to the gym, because let's face it, going to the gym is daunting. You're going to a new place. There's new people. You're kind of curious and you might be self-aware. But I can tell you that when I see new people coming to the gym, even if they're obese, especially if they're obese, my hat goes off to those people because they're doing something that 99% of the people won't do, and that's change their destiny by going to the gym. So if you go to the gym and you're doing 15, 30 minutes of cardio 3 days a week and you do that for a month and that becomes a habit and you're happy to go to the gym and you're seeing some results because you're working a nutrition plan, let's say you're only losing, a half pound a week. I have more respect for that person than the person that comes in, slams the weights, comes in, tries to do some big PR numbers, stays in the gym for a month, and then you don't see them for another 6 months because they quit. I don't care how much you bench. I don't care how much you squat. I don't care how big you are. But if you quit, that tells me that mentally something's not working out right. Obviously life gets involved and you can't go to the gym. But generally you have people that will be a flash in a pan and they can't have that continued workout throughout the year. In other words, it's not a priority. It's not something that they do on a consistent basis. So their consistency and their discipline is off. They can do well in the gym and they can lift the weights and play the part and, and they look good and in the whole 9 yards, but they're just a flash in the pan because they can't continue that walk. They talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk throughout the year. Okay. And it's like, that's a problem. That's something that they need to work on. But yeah, just get used to going to the gym. Like I said, go to one person I recommended. I said, yeah, just go to the gym, go on the elliptical, go on the treadmill, watch a movie, for 30, a TV show for 30, 40 minutes, just walking, just doing the elliptical and the walking thing. And once you're done, just get used to the environment that you're in. So when you go to the gym and the attendant's there, hey, good morning, become a familiar face, get comfortable with your surroundings, and then that will help you overcome that lack of self-confidence that you have. Because no matter what you do, when you start a new job, when you go into a new grade, when you move to a new place, when you start a new hobby, there will always be times where you are not as confident because it's a new thing. A new thing scares us, and so we're kind of reserved. Most of us are reserved when we go and we try and do new things. So my thing is just go to the gym, get used to it, do a little bit of cardio, a little bit of walking, whatever it is, and don't worry about killing it every single time. We want that behavior, that pattern, that habit of going to the gym and having that be favorable. Have that be, that's my time. That's where I can relax. That's where I can unload and I can de-stress and I can focus on me and placing me as being important and taking care of me. So that way, if I take care of me, then I can take care of the other people around me better as well. And the mental health aspects of working out and all of that comes in line and minimizes depression and so on and so forth. There's tons of benefits of going to the gym. But yeah, just start off small. You don't have to have this spreadsheet of workout routines with complicated this and that and know everything on the very first day that you go to the gym. I've been doing the gym for quite some time and I still learn new stuff. That's the other thing. Just don't forget that you go to the gym, that your learning stops. The basic exercise routine that you start with, that's not going to be the same one that you're going to be doing 5-10 years from now. You're going to grow, you're going to learn, you're going to say, well, hey, this exercise, I get more response and by doing this exercise versus this exercise, or this routine versus that routine, or, working a push-pull leg workout versus, a bro split workout. I like this better than that. And, like for me, I've done both the push-pull legs and the bro split. And now I'm kind of adding those two things together and I work out 4 days a week. So, and finding exercises that maximize, and where I see results, it's part of that growing process. So just realize, don't be in this paralysis of analysis by trying to find the perfect workout routine because it's not out there. Just get a basic workout routine. Start with low weights, higher repetitions, about 8 to 12 repetitions. Low weights because we don't want to bombard our body and get to the point of where we have muscle soreness that we can't walk and we can't do anything, and that really is a negative effect on our wanting to go back to the gym because you can't walk, because you're so sore. Use the lower weight, use the higher reps. Start out with 3 sets, maybe 2 or 3 exercises per body part, and then, go from there. Do a progressive overload, but, just slowly ease into it. I've done it to where, you start a program, you go hard, fast, and you're sore for days and weeks on end, and that doesn't really help anything. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized, hey, I'm going to start out with low weights. And so I don't experience that extreme muscle soreness. I'm going to ease into it because this is for the long haul. This isn't a flash in the pan type of thing. So, and if you're, men, women, whoever you are out there, don't feel bad if you're only lifting 5 or 10 pounds. If you're doing barbell curls and you're using 15-pound weights, who cares? If it's 5 pounds, it doesn't matter. You're lifting for you. You're not lifting for other people. But we often look at other people and we judge ourselves according to what we see in other people, and that makes us feel bad. But if you can get that point out of your head to say, hey, this is for me, this is what I'm doing, and be happy and comfortable, and then you do your own plan, you'll be way above everybody else, And I see a number of people at the gym that I go to. I'm here in Korea. I'm close to a military base, so I go to a base gym because I'm retired military. And I see people that lift weights. I see people that do cardio. I see people that do the Zumba. I see people that, do the bands. They do the machines only, But whatever it is that they do, I good on them, you know. It's not about, that I look down to people that do bands. I don't personally, I don't like bands. That's just a personal preference. But don't let somebody's personal preference make you feel bad because it's preference. If you prefer to do machines, do machines. There's great results that you can get on machines. The increased safety factor is great. It's a great way to ease into resistance training and not having to worry about dropping weights and barbells and dumbbells on your face and whatever. It's a much safer option, and especially as you get older. But whatever it is, you do what you do, and you let them do what they do. It's that simple. If we can just get out of our own heads, we could just do so much better. That's what it really comes down to. And the last thing I want to talk about is if you see somebody in the gym and you're wondering about what they're doing or why they're doing it. I've had people ask me, "Hey, what are you doing? How come you get such nice shoulders? How are you working those? And what are you doing? What exercise?" And I'll share gladly what I do for that exercise or the muscle group that I'm working. I've gone to people that I've watched in the gym because everybody watches everybody. Let's just get that done and over with. But usually it's like, oh, okay. If somebody's a regular there, then it's like, oh, you're part of the group. You're some of the good people. Okay. So the thing is, just go to the gym, be there, be a regular, and it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're a regular, you're good to go. But I will watch people and say, okay, well, that guy's got a really good upper chest, or that guy's got some real good traps. I'm trying to work my traps. So I will go, even at the age of 56 that I am, and I've spent a number of years doing health and fitness, I will go to that person and say, hey, I notice, don't want to bother you. Don't interrupt them during their set, but after their set, and hey, what exercise are you do? I notice your traps. You got some really good traps. What exercises do you do? And why do you do them? I have never had anybody tell me no. Never. I've never rejected anybody. I've never told anybody no myself. When they've asked me a question about exercise and how to do this or how to do that, I've never ever done that. I can't remember anybody ever. I've never even heard that. So if you're serious about working out and you see somebody that's doing something and you're wondering why they're doing it, or, hey, maybe you're doing it, but you don't know if you're doing it right, ask a person that looks like they're doing it right and who has a good physique and ask them, or somebody that is a personal trainer and say, hey, I'm kind of wondering, blah, blah, blah. Strike up some conversations. You can learn stuff along the way. Heck, you might even hire a personal trainer, because of the answers that you get or not, doesn't matter. But the important thing is just getting in shape, eating right for the long haul. So, all right. We're officially out of latte. So that's going to be it. Anyway, so that's it. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to the Varied Life channel. Check out that Chat GPT video that I was talking about for the nutrition plan with the recipes and so on and so forth. Just saves you a ton of work when it comes to coming up with the nutrition plan. All right, other than that, that's going to be it. Now I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. All right, peace.